Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and in this video I've got an FAQ for everyone. So for those of you who, if you've been around, not been around the channel as much, FAQ, I just take questions from the comment section or things I see in the Discord that deserve an answer that's longer than like a single line of text, but not a full video. So I kind of compile them into one, give them out for you guys. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Let's first and foremost thank my channel members so much for their continued support. If you're interested in joining, there's a link down below. Otherwise, there's also a link to the Discord there too, and there's a lot of great things that happen in the Discord, some really good advice in there. So let's get in here and let's talk about this FAQ. So the first topic that I've seen a lot of players ask me, especially after my account update, hey Phil, isn't hoarding bad? So in the context of hoarding for hoarding's sake, like just obtaining materials and hanging on to them because you think it's cool, yes, that's bad. Right? That's not a good thing to do, just to sit on those materials because you could put them on a character to use. But that's not the situation that I'm in. I want to make sure everybody's clear. If you remember from the account update, my Captain Rex wasn't 7-star yet. He was gear 11, right? I still needed a few shards. Now look at this. He's 7-star, full Omicron. He's even got decent mods on him. Like, that's why I was doing that, is I knew that I have things coming up that I'm going to be gearing. Same thing here with Nisa. I've got, some Zetas to apply. I've got, gear. And what I look at here is I say to myself, what I need to be prepared for is when I'm gearing this character, they're going to make a significant difference in the time that it takes me to get Leia. And if I get stuck on their gear because I equipped it to someone else that doesn't help me get Leia, I've set my account back. And then also, like, Third Sister's coming up. And you guys remember I said, hey, I'm saving gear for her. I need 700 total Kyrotex for her. Right? 700 total Kyrotex. So I was trying to look and see if I could show you just how many Kyrotex I have now. Let's go here. Like, look, I've got those, right? I've got those. Like, I still need a lot of Kyrotex for Reva, for her Third Sister, and she's someone that, okay, I'm saving those for her. I've got to save them for Leia. I've got to get them for these characters here. So this hoarding is for a purpose, and that purpose is understanding that eventually when I do get these characters in those coming months, I need to have the materials saved up for them and ready to go, because otherwise I'm taking longer to get Leia, which is setting my account back. And you think like, well, Phil, couldn't you make more progress in that time? Just remember something. Grand Arena is designed to limit you're supposed to go 500 in Grand Arena. So even if I do something that gets me an extra win, I'll just be in another I get one extra win and then I'm back down to nothing. So that's the reason I'm hoarding for the characters that I am. I'm trying to make sure that I have the material saved so that way as soon as I get her, boom, I'm ready to go. Now the next thing I heard a lot of you ask is what are the next relics I'm planning to do? So I want to get the Phoenix Squad up and running, right? I've got Hera there, Captain Rex, and then Chopper, Kanan, and Sabine are going to be the next characters I really want to work on. I think this is the best team to use, but also just thinking realistically that if Sabine does go with the light side Mandalorian team, I can be using her as well. So trying to make sure that I invest in the right characters for the right times, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. And then Juhani is here as well. This is one I want to do for my guild. I definitely need to be worried about the Omicrons because I'm going to be applying 3 to Reva. Drogon has an Omicron I need to apply. So that's going to kind of bleed a lot of the Omicrons I have. So I'm potentially thinking about getting Juhani and Mara Jade as well. But that won't leave me with many Omicrons to spare. And there's a lot more characters I need to be potentially gearing up. So we'll kind of see how that goes between Mara Jade and Juhani there. But definitely a character that I'd like to have at relic levels. Juhani's definitely on that maybe list. I think she's definitely on a maybe list. The Phoenix team definitely going to happen. Alright, the 4th and 5th characters I intend to use for Leia here. Right now, I'm thinking about Mon Mothma and Kyle, just because I don't have a lot of good Rebel fighters. I don't have that A team. It's kind of a throwaway team for me. I don't even think they might be on defense right now. I don't know. It's not a good team. It's a team that I just put in there because I need to have that slot filled, unfortunately. So I could take that off of defense, replace it with my, a Leia team or another Galactic Legend team, and kind of put these guys in that 4th and 5th slot. Again, I don't know for sure. There's a lot of debate on who the best characters are. I've heard a lot of great things about, like, Baze Malbus and Chirrut going in there potentially, which, like, that could definitely happen because I do have both of those characters at Gear 12. So that could be an option as well. There's there's a lot that I could do, but definitely thinking about something like this. I saw a question about early territory war Omicrons, and in my opinion, these three right here are the best early Omicrons. So Mara Jade, for those of you who've never seen this, basically, right, if the enemy isn't a galactic legend, the leader will lose 100% protection, 50% max protection, and she gains 100% turn meter, and then she gains some other stuff of this. I mean, this is all great. The big thing here is that she just can get the turn meter train started so early. And that limits the counters that you can use against this team. You think like one of the best teams you could probably use to counter this would be like a General Hux lead team. But if you have Kylo, do you want to take Hux away? So it's a very solid team. It's one that really, really causes a lot of problems for players. And you don't need a ton of gear on her because she's going to start at 100% turn meter, so it doesn't matter how fast she is. Obviously, if she's at relic levels, it is nicer, but she'll get a lot of turn meter. The next one is the Geonosians. Geonosians at gear 12 with the Poggle Omicron is just so good, right? It is unbelievably good. And you get this new, like, bonus, right? And here's Geonosian Brood. 20% max health, protection, offense, tenacity, and 10 speed for each Geonosian ally. When this character is defeated, revive at 100% health and protection, right? So now they will lose that Geonosian Brood bonus if they get killed once, but again, think about it. Okay, you kill them, but let's say there's still 5 Geonosians standing because they've killed your team, you might have gotten a kill. The next battle, they're going to get it again. So this is a really solid Omicron here, and it's on a team that everybody builds for Wat Tambor, takes them to gear 12. This is a really, really solid, truly I think it's a solid investment for a lot of players. And then the last one being Droideka. So Droideka's Omicron is unbelievably good. So he gains damage immunity at the start of the encounter. He also gains a stack of charge whenever an ally takes a turn. Whenever he's marked, he gains 25% max health, stacking until the end of the encounter, and the ally in the leader slot gains 20% turn meter. So you think, if he gains marked, because General Grievous drops below 100% health, he gains marked, his health just increased, and General Grievous just got turn meter. If he has damage immunity, allies are immune to daze and stun, so that basically stops any Bad Batch counters. And you think General Skywalker, it stops daze. While Droideka is marked, all other allies have potency and speed. First time he's defeated while marked and an ally is active, revive all allies at the end of the turn, and then all allies recover 100% health. Start of Droideka's turn, all allies recover 10% health and protection. This is insane. This is an insanely good Omicron. One that I think, for a lot of newer players, if you have that General Grievous team built, which is a very solid team, it's one of my most underrated teams, you can get a lot of use out of this. This is a character, B2 and Droideka are always thorns in my side because I'd love to get them to relic levels. I just have never got around to it. But this Omicron is a fantastic use. Even at gear 12 for a lot of players, he will cause problems for people. 1000%. Like it is, that's how good this Omicron is. I truly, like these three right here, all ones you can do at low gear and on teams that are very good. Your Geonosians you might not use later on, but at gear 12, like what the heck? You know, and for the use you'll get out of this Omicron, I think it's fantastic. Should you still be farming Executor first? Absolutely. I still think Executor is your best first farm. It's going to help you in GACE, especially if you're in like a brand new fleet shard. Yes, Executor first. I did have a player who came, asked for a roster review on stream, and they came back and were like, hey, like I'm, played for years, stopped playing, came back, what should I do? And I was like, you might want to farm Executor, but their fleet shard was entirely Leviathans at that point. And I still said, I think Executor might be your best bet still because of Grand Arena and some of the other places that you can, use that ship like TBE. It is a really good fleet, and I think it's a nice starting place to build from. But where I then started thinking a little bit is for a lot of players, you're going to get that, Executor, but then Profundity and Leviathan are still big problems. And how do you kind of solve for them? And so what I wanted to show you guys is what I think the most important A-tier fleet. So you think your S-tier fleets are Executor, Profundity, and Leviathan, right? Those are your S-tier fleets. Yes, they definitely, like Leviathan, Profundity, and Executor, I think, you know, that's the order I would put them in terms of like how good they are, with a big gap between Leviathan and Profundity. There's a huge gap. But the best A tier fleets in the game now, in my opinion, is the Empire. As good as, you know, the Galactic Republic fleet is, as good as General Grievous is, the Chimera and Executrix are probably your two best bets, because they counter all of those. Look, this fleet right here counters Leviathan. This right here counters Leviathan. And what a lot of you are going to say is, oh, Phil, well, I don't have the Scythe. This is why I preach how important it is to do Conquest. When I got the Scythe, I went hard in that Conquest. I didn't even have Grand Inquisitor unlocked yet. My fifth brother was like gear 8. I still went hard in that Conquest because I understood that at some point this ship was going to be important to me, that I needed it. And now look at it, right? It's the only way we're off meta countering the Leviathan. It is that important, guys. So you cannot afford to. This is why I say Conquest is so important. I know I get preachy on it. This is why. This fleet right here is so fantastically good. Now, let's say you're like, oh, well, I won't have to face Leviathan. Well, here's your Executor counter. Right? This fleet right here counters Executor, both the triple attacker variant and the like standard variant. I've done it both ways. Standard variant a little bit harder, but not impossible, right? It definitely just, there's a little bit of, you got to be careful, but it's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. This is a very good fleet right here. Love that fleet. And then of course your Profundity counter, these 4 ships. And again, before you say, well, I don't have, good Gauntlet. Here's my Gauntlet characters. Look at these guys. Even though they just got their reworks, they're still like trash, right? Gear 8. Like, I can take them to gear 12 if I wanted to. It wouldn't be that hard. But you guys see the point there. Even at that gear level, this still counters Profundity very consistently. So, all this to say, yes, you still want to get the Executor first, but building these Empire fleets becomes extremely important because these are your off-meta counters that are the most consistent to those S-tier fleets. Now, you might say, well, Phil, I don't have the Scythe. You can do this without Scythe. You can definitely do the Profundity counter without Scythe. It just takes a little bit more, definitely takes a little bit more skill. You definitely, you kind of have to use like the full Empire fleet at that point, but it's possible. So I wanted to share these fleets because I think for a lot of you out there now, you're having to counter Leviathan, your Profundity, things like this. This is how you do those things. It's that important. This is the importance of fleets right here, is that you have to understand how good those S tiers are. But if you're like, man, I don't know how to counter stuff, these things right here, learn to do these. There's plenty of videos on how to do it. Yeah, guys, that's the end of the FAQ. Hopefully these topics answer any questions you had, kind of show you just some of the things that happen in the Discord that players ask good questions that I really can't do in a full, sentence, because obviously this takes a lot longer to do. So let me know your thoughts, guys, down below. As always, smash that subscribe button. Leave your likes, leave your comments. I love all you. May the force be with you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.